Hi everyone, it's Jessica and I am excited to be here today with a mystery envelope challenge. If you've never seen one of these mystery envelope videos before, basically my 6 friends and I take turns each month sending each other an envelope with some different parts, papers cut out, and some rules for a project that we need to make. And then it's fun, we all get to see what we create from the same pieces. So this month, my friend Julie from Craft with Julie has sent these digital pieces out. She cut these with the digital Tutti Frutti collection from Close to My Heart. And she just cut them on her Cricut. And it looks like they're going to be a bunch of different summer kind of shapes from that collection. And the only rule that she gave us this month is that we have to use at least 3 of them in a project. So now that I've opened my mystery envelope, I guess the first task I have is just to kind of figure out what pieces go with what. I did ask Julie, and she said that she sent a couple of different colors of the leaves for both the cherry and the pineapples, so we could decide which ones we wanted to use. So that's why I've got a couple of those extra purple leaves there. And the other thing I need to decide is for some of these pieces, like the pineapple, I could actually flip the piece over to either side of my cardstock. And Close to My Heart's cardstock is two-tone. So one side of the paper will have a darker shade of the color and the other side will have a lighter shade. So that's what you see me doing here, just trying to make some of those decisions, for these pieces that could go either way. What shade of the color do I want to have showing? And I won't make you watch me put all of the pieces together. It did take me about 10 minutes to kind of puzzle these out, but as you can see, it's just a bunch of really fun summer shapes. I got some sunglasses in there and some food and some popsicles, and I have to incorporate at least 3 of them onto a project. So since they are some fun summer shapes, I pulled these photos of my kids from 4 years ago when we were just at the park for a normal summer day, and I think that might work well with some of these. At this point, I'm not really sure which ones I'm going to use yet, so I'm just going to prepare all of them. So that watermelon piece was bothering me a little bit. I thought that the seeds in the watermelon needed to be black, so I pulled my liquid pearls bottle out in that black color, and I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze some of that into these holes here. And set that aside to dry just in case I end up using that watermelon piece. And so another thing I'm going to do, I have pulled my shimmer brushes out, and I've got mint and lemonade and capri, and so they match the colors of the lenses in the 3 different sunglasses that Julie has sent. And I'm going to take my shimmer brush and just kind of go over those lenses and add a little bit of sparkle and shine to them. Now, if I would have been smart and thinking ahead, I probably should have done this to these pieces of paper before gluing them on to the white frames, because I was pretty careful, but I did get a few little mistakes in there. So you'll see later how I cover that up. But here you can tell I've just kind of gone ahead and treated some of those. This one I added some liquid glass over top of that cherry, and I think that that's a lot of fun. And then there's the seeds on my watermelon. All right, so not sure yet which 3 I will use, but definitely I have to have 3 in there. I've matted my photos on some white cardstock, and then I am using the Make It From Your Heart Volume 2 pattern book from Close to My Heart. This is an older one that is retired, and I'm just following one of the patterns in there, and that is how I have cut my pieces of paper here from the Tutti Frutti collection. So I am going to build it on this piece of capri colored cardstock, but I thought that maybe it was just a little bit too plain, too much blue. So I wanted to add a little something to it before I started putting my pattern pieces of paper down. So I grabbed some of the white gloss spray from Dina Wakley, and I just splattered it. And then I also am using my capri colored shimmer brush, which is the same color as the cardstock. And I am going to splatter that around on my base pages as well. And then that way I can set that to the side and let it dry while I get myself organized here for putting this layout together. I did off camera also edge distress all of my pattern papers with some coordinating ink colors, so those are already done too. Okay, so now that I've got basically my pieces of pattern paper down where they go according to that pattern, I can kind of see, what this is going to look like and figure out which of my 3 pieces from the mystery envelope that I'm going to incorporate into my project. So I've got 2 4x6 photos, and the others are all 3x4. And then the space over to the far left is supposed to be where the title goes. And so I'm thinking maybe I'll just kind of slide. I really like that watermelon. I think it's really cute. There's no watermelon in my photos, but I guess it doesn't have to be super literal. So I try maybe kind of tucking that behind there. And I also really love this pineapple. I think it's cute, but that doesn't really seem to work anywhere. So then I turn to the sunglasses because I do have those in my pattern paper. And then after moving them around, I just ended up stacking them on top of each other in that title space. And I really like the look of that. So that is the direction that I'm going to go in. Obviously, I can't put my title there now, but that's okay. I think that it fills up that space nicely. Now, like you said, when I was covering those lenses with my shimmer brush, I did make a couple of tiny little mistakes where I strayed outside of out of the lines, I guess you could say. And so to cover that up and just kind of jazz these up a little bit more, I've decided to add some stitching all the way around each of the frames. So I'm using my piercing tool just to poke some holes, and then I'm going to do a chain link stitch all the way around. And I'm using 4 strands of embroidery thread. So I'll try to show you here. Basically, I just am going to come up the hole. I'm going to slide my needle underneath the stitch I made previously, and then I'm going to go back down the same hole, and then I repeat that process. And to get something started, so the first time that you are beginning a chain link stitch, what I do is I just do a basic back stitch and I go over it twice, so that way you've looped it twice, and that just adds enough bulk from the thread to make it look like the rest of the chain link stitches. So and I went ahead and did that off camera. And now that I can kind of see how this is going to come together, I'm liking that much better. I really think that that thread adds enough dimension to that to kind of take up that space there. So I've gone ahead and adhered my photos down. And so now I've got 3 of those Tutti Frutti pieces. I don't end up using any other ones, so I guess I will save those for another project. But I do want to add a couple other embellishment clusters on my page. So I've pulled some older stamp sets and one that is current, and I will leave that link down below. And I'm going to use those to create a couple of those clusters, like I said. So I'm going to stamp on this circle what will be ultimately my title. And then I also realized that I didn't mean to glue these 4x6 photos down just yet. I had thought of this earlier, and then of course I proceeded to forget. I did, one of the older stamp sets that I pulled that I want to use is the Doodled Borders, which was a stamp of the month from a year or so ago. And I wanted to cover a little bit of that white paper that I have, that top strip and bottom strip across the page. It just felt a little stark to me, and I thought it needed a little more interest. So Doodled Borders was kind of the perfect answer. And I figured it would be easier to stamp that without, trying to mask around my photo. So I just had to pull those off and then re-adhere them later. So I am using this one that I'm going to have to kind of line up where I stamp it all the way across, and it did make me a little nervous. But then I thought, you know what, it's just a 1/2-inch strip of white cardstock. If I screw it up, it's a really easy thing to fix. I can just cut another 1/2-inch piece and pull that one off and put a different one down. So I did end up stamping everything very nicely. It worked out beautifully, and so I was very pleased with that. And I'm glad that I did do something to that white piece of paper because, like I said, it just kind of stood out a little too much. I like the way that this Doodled Border stamp just adds a little bit more interest to it. So I'll stamp that all the way across, and you can see I'm just kind of looking through my clear black here. It's easy. It was really easy actually to line it up and match up end to end where that little scribble stamp kind of lined up. So super easy to do, and I didn't screw up. I was pretty pleased about that. And there you can see a closer look at that. Okay, so now I'm ready to start working on those embellishment clusters. So I've got this stitched circle, and I'm using a stamp set a stamp from the Smile Big stamp set. It's the Operation Smile stamp, and I can't remember now what the sentiment says on there. Be the reason someone smiles today. And I thought that that was an appropriate sentiment for this page because I'm sure anyone out there who is a mother or a grandmother knows that when you ask kids to kind of stand and smile and take a picture, that usually they're like too busy running around, or they won't cooperate, or they don't smile, or somebody's always looking crazy. And on this particular day at the park, I was like, hey guys, let me get your picture. And everybody stopped and everybody smiled. And that just like almost never happens, especially when all three of them are looking and all three of them are smiling. And I just remember on this day being so pleased with the fact that the pictures had turned out. Although now that it's been 4 years and I'm finally reaching this point in my scrapbooks and getting around to recording those memories, I was kind of laughing at the photos because in a bunch of them, they're like standing so still. They look so serious. But still, everybody's looking and everybody's smiling, and that's a win. So the photos made me smile, and they were definitely the reason that I smiled both then and then today when I was scrapbooking it. So, all right, so I'm going to put that up there on that circle. And then I also, from the Blue Sky stamp set, which is an older one, I really was kind of digging into my stash here. I just cut out this cute little tag. I stamped it in the flamingo ink, which matches that pink pattern paper there. And I'm just going to tuck it behind there. And then off camera, I think I do put a little thread through the tag hole just to, because it needed a little something. And then that way I had thread on the right-hand side as well as around the lenses in my glasses. And then also from that Blue Skies stamp set, I just stamped a little something in this rectangle here. And then I pulled a little scrap piece of pattern paper from that Tutti Frutti collection. And I'm just going to kind of layer the two of them over there. It says My Only Sunshine. And that's just going to be the third point here. And then I'm like, I still need something else. So I was digging through my bag of Tutti Frutti paper, and I found this zip strip that has all the glasses on it. And I thought, well, that's cute, but they're still kind of little. And then I had this little tiny scrap of paper that's also from that same pattern paper. So I decided to fussy cut 2 of the sunglasses out. And then I put some thin 3D foam dots behind them, and I'm going to pop those into that cluster there, just to kind of both that circle cluster up there and then one down where that rectangle is, just to kind of bring the sunglasses around some more. It's over there stitched on the title space and then also in the other 3 points of the clusters. So that's what I'm doing here. This is a good time just to kind of remind you guys that this is a collaboration with 6 other ladies, and I will leave all of their videos linked down below. Like I said, they are creating using the very same pieces that Julie has sent out, and so it is a lot of fun to kind of see how everybody imagines them in different ways and to kind of see everybody's creative process. So I really enjoy watching it, and I hope that you do too. Make sure that you check all of their videos out. If you are new to my channel and you like what you see, I get so thrilled every time I see that I have a new subscriber. So if you are not already a subscriber, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment. I love reading everybody's comments. So thank you so much for coming by today to watch. All right, I am down to the final little, pieces to finish off this layout. So I have just grabbed this just a little tiny stamp. It's got like a little sunburst kind of looking thing to it. And I'm just going to stamp it in Capri ink in a couple of different places around my page just to kind of finish off some of those splatters and things that I've got going on the background. And that is pretty much it. So again, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. I hope you feel inspired. I've gotten a lot of feedback on Facebook from people who think that this mystery envelope challenge is a lot of fun, and then they're doing it with their friends, and I think that that is so wonderful. You'll have to leave me a comment if this is something you've ever tried before. Like I said, I do really enjoy seeing how everybody plays with the same pieces and parts and rules and comes up with very different looking projects that are all, so fun. So this is mine, and there we go. More pictures into the scrapbook. It's always a good thing to have a couple of pages accomplished and ready to put into the album. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. As always, happy crafting and have a lovely day. Bye.